This particular file has been causing our user, our designer, a degree of difficulty, and I've clicked on File and File Size and got this value back. File size is 102 megabytes, and that's a very big file. We've found in the past that files can often be quite large because of the inappropriate use of a block name or something like that. But in this case, can you see there are lots and lots of very strangely named block files, $SC and so on. These are indicative to me that part of the drawing at least has come from the AutoCAD environment, and although gCADPlus plays quite well with files that have come from the AutoCAD design environment, this has an awful lot of them, the largest number I think we have ever seen. So the design is a little unstable in the hands of our designer. So how might we go about trying to tidy a file of this type up? The first thing I would try is to go to Tools and then use our Cleanup tool. The tool to purge unused objects can be used, and gCADPlus will now go away and remove as many of those blocks that are unwanted as possible. And having just tried this previously, the file size will reduce by a factor of 50%, will come from 102 megabytes down to half of that. Well, here's the result. Took some time, but a couple of text styles and 645 blocks that are on the shelf associated with this drawing file, but are not actually used in the actual drawing, and that's by far the largest number we've ever seen. Well, I'd be inclined to guess that this file has got some further gremlins in it, and one way to check that is to go gCADPlus, Tools, come down here to AutoCAD and check it to see whether it will save as an AutoCAD we'd look like DXF files, and in fact it won't. So already this little tool in gCADPlus is telling us that this is not a particularly useful file. So there are some problems still in it. So next thing I'd try is to go File and Save As and use a DXF out, and we'll just call it Test and put it on the desktop and click Save. And again it's telling us that there is an invalid symbol table name. Now the symbol table can relate to blocks, but it can relate to all sorts of things, and I'll do a quick check by just checking on layers. We've had some trouble where some odd layers, we can see some of these strange files came from the internet, cadblocks.net, cadblocks. Those layers are no longer necessary. See how they're greyed out, so we'll select those that are not needed. It's just possible that the problems could have been there, so we'll OK that and then save. It'll take quite some time to save because it's still 50 megabytes in size or thereabouts. I'll try once again to purge the unused objects. A couple more text styles. It's objecting to that. So again I'll go Format and let's look at the text styles. That's a problem. It's report we only see one text style in the drawing, yet that checking finds a couple, so there's a couple of phantom text styles, and I wouldn't mind betting they came from the AutoCAD environment as well by importing these blocks. I'll now have a brief look at the blocks in the drawing, and we've still got a couple of these odd ones left here. I like to turn on the base point display at this point. You can see the base point's well away from the point. So a lot of blocks have been made, but the base point point not set correctly. So we will just run that check again by going File and Save as DXF. I'm not optimistic. We know there's some phantom textiles in there, and we'll overwrite the file test. Again, it's an invalid symbol table name. That error message doesn't help me a huge amount, but we have identified a couple of unusual problems in the drawing. Another thing that's worth trying is just to see if we could select the whole drawing or part thereof, copy it to the clipboard and make a brand new drawing without choosing a template, and then right click and paste from the clipboard. Again, it's taking an awful long time. This should happen very quickly because it's a simple block. And AutoCAD has in fact come back to my recording, and it's actually shut everything down. Well, the drawing is clearly unstable and causing us a lot of problems. And a very quick look shows a number of difficulty. If I click anywhere in this hedging here, can you see the hedging symbols? There are quite literally hundreds of symbols in that hedging. So, sorry, not hundreds of symbols, but hundreds of entities in that drawing. So the other thing to look at maybe might be a polyline, and we click on it. Whoa, click on a polyline there. You can see it's probably a polyline being drawn and then exploded. So if I look at other areas of hatching, perhaps we might find similar problems, but we need a technique to overcome that and to get a drawing that is stable. And at this point we want to move it out of this environment, and what I would then try, I think, is to I'd go turn on all. We still haven't got rid of that layer. That's interesting. We thought we had purged that one, and we'll OK it, and we'll run the purge again in a moment. But what I think it's worth doing, maybe we might just try that format option and have a look at the text styles again. And gCADPlus has gone quiet again, and that might be a clue as to, here we are, might have a clue here. Let's go format. I'm still having a great deal of difficulty. Hello. Now that to me is never none of this has ever happened to me in the past. It's just we got this enormous drawing. So there's a text style 2 and a text style arc style, which are in the drawing file, have now appeared. And text style 2 is one called SimSun, is a TTC file, not a TTF. That's one I've never heard of, and that is enormous. So we need to get rid of any. There's more detective work needed here to try and work out that. So I have no idea I know what a TTF file is, but I have no idea what a TTC file is. So we'll pause at this point, post this little story, and you'll get another version where we can understand more of it.